This is day one of this TME CRA road trip, and we couldn't be happier. Alongside of Jay Parker and Brian Freeman, I'm Greg Hollenbach. We've got a great show for you tonight. We're just going to basically recap. Need to introduce, and we'll go around the table. First of all, Craig Jones, thanks, the host with the most.
Yeah, my name's Craig Jones. I'm one of 100 owners, partners of the Gold Pan Saloon and Carboy Winery.
Is it really 100?
There's probably like 15 partners. 4 of the employees that worked here for the prior 10 years, they bought into it and are part owners with us. We have a lot of partners.
Any family?
And it works out well that way.
Yeah, family. Partnerships suck, right? And then you got the family in there, and boy, it can really, no.
All right, let me set the stage. We're in Breckenridge, Colorado. We're on the first leg of our trip. The ladies from the CRA are with us. Devaney, first of all, good to see you.
Great to see you.
Yeah, Sonia, good to see you.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, and Laura, one headset. We'll see you in a minute. Yes, Laura,
waving.
Go say hello. Okay, you guys, I don't know what happened, but we're so glad that you came along on this road trip. We started out in Frisco, Colorado this morning, and boy, already, what a great day. How do we set the stage? Would you like to do that, Dev?
Oh, gosh. Well, I took Greg, I don't know that I'm the one to do that, but I can just what I can tell you is I woke up and I just was like in my head like, road trip. This is so great. It's been so long. And then that we were doing it with 3 women, three guys,
Yeah.
and it just seemed, I don't know, blew my mind that this was happening, and it was beautiful driving up. I was listening to great music, and then we all landed at, frankly, we were all pretty on time, which was cool.
Yeah.
And we all landed at Silver Hills, and Bob was there, and I feel so happy to see us, and he was such a gracious host. So I'll let you take it from there.
Well, yeah, it's kind of two agendas, right?
Yes.
But
Yeah.
we teamed up together, and so our agenda, we have Fall Dinner Series coming up.
I was going to say our inspiration was the changing of the seasons, and that we wanted to bring a different twist. We've done the Summer Dinner Series for the last 3 years, and now all of a sudden all these chefs get to experience cool stuff that's at the end of the season, like apples and pears and local squash. And that was our crazy, let's go for a road trip.
Yeah, 2 different agendas, 1 community, and that's what's really cool about this. The community and the agenda that you guys had was a couple of things: safety, support, and community. To go out there and let's connect. So I really think that that's a cool thing. Let's talk about that connection.
Yeah.
Sonia.
So, one of the things that we really want to do is get real stories from restaurateurs who have lived for their restaurants for years and years and years, but have lived an insanely crazy and different experience over the last 6 months since COVID hit, and what those stories have meant to them and what their communities have meant to them, what their experiences look like, what struggles they have, and to share that really with people, with the public, with legislators, just with the community, and talking about, what do they need to keep going, what have these changes meant to them, how are they surviving, and just kind of what their outlook has been. And just talking to several of them today, it's been, wow, really heartfelt stories of amazing community, wonderful workers and employees that they have, partners and customers, but a lot of hardships too, and a lot of uncertainty. That's one of the I think the common things that we've heard is just the uncertainty is really challenging for them. It's really scary.
We all know what all operators are facing, and of course we talk in restaurant sense because that's what the show is. But it's exactly that. Walk a mile in their shoes.
Right.
And we're going to see what's that mile in your shoes look like. And so far today we had 3 great stops in Frisco, Colorado, and Bob Starko from Silver Heel Bar and Grill and Kimasabi Sushi. He basically just opened up his home, told us his story, but some of the things that he was talking about of safety from his perspective and his standpoint, there are folks within the communities, a lot of communities, that haven't gone out to eat at all.
Yeah.
And Bob feels like he's got a mission to show, here's what we're doing. Here's the precautions that we're taking. And he was a very inspirational guy. I like
I agree. And, restaurants are already uniquely qualified to keep people safe. I mean, that's what they do every day, but they've really stepped it up in a big way during this COVID outbreak to really make sure not only that customers are getting, and a lot of them are going above and beyond, right, what the state's asking them to do, but what we heard today from Bob is what is he also doing to make people even feel safe when they go into his restaurant. And I thought that was really nice to see, even the way that he's setting, that he's setting the atmosphere, that he's placing his decorations and different how he's making the restaurant look both indoors and outdoors. I think really that's nice that he's making that extra step, not only in the actual safety measures, but in also making people feel comfortable when they come in.
Yeah. I would like to point out one thing that Sonia said that I don't think a lot of people really think about. Restaurants are already there to make people safe, right? Because they're already watching food temperatures. They're already watching the cleanliness. And now they're just taking it a step further, and I don't think that a lot of people realize that every day we put our lives in the restaurateur's hands.
Absolutely.
And hoping that they give us something that's not going to kill us and is tasty and an enjoyable experience.
A lot of restrictions happening, right? And as we look around corners into winter, and I thought it was very interesting that we turned the propane tank on, and here's the heat lamp, and these are some of the things that are going to need to be happening for folks as we transition from into that fall, into winter, and the colder months. It's like, how do we keep that seating? Sonia, you must have a lot to say about that.
Well, I do. And we've been working very closely with the state of Colorado and especially the COVID response team on, increasing capacity is one of the number one things that restaurants are saying that they need to survive. And they're telling us that they're looking for what they can do to try to increase it indoors, but it's more difficult for them at this point. And where they said that the kind of the low-hanging fruit to help restaurants through the winter is what can we do to help expand this outdoor seating? Mountain towns already have it figured out with their skiing, their ski resorts. Oftentimes they have really unique, fun outdoor dining experiences after people get off the hill that day. But we're going to be looking for it all around Colorado, right? In rural communities and urban communities and in mountain and resort towns, all over on what we can do to continue to encourage that outdoor dining experience. So we're looking forward to announcing some exciting things that we're doing in the coming weeks with that. And we'll, of course, be sure to tell you all first, but trying to find ways to help support restaurants as they're doing that and inspire them to keep these outdoor dining experiences going throughout the cold weather months.
Now, going back to Bob Starko and Silver Heels Bar and Grill, he's really planning. He's looking ahead, and he's actually very into it. He's like, I'm going to make a cool space here. And you can only hope that other folks can be so creative. One of the things that's happening, though, are other folks are saying, I don't have the means or the methods to do this. Help. Is there a way people can help? Or, I'm not really seeing how there are some operators that are bootstrapped in a lot of ways, and they're trying to figure that out. Is there an outreach or?
Well, there are already a lot of counties and cities do have grant programs. Some of them have restrictions. A number of them have restrictions on, how many employees you have, that kind of thing. But there are a number of programs out there. So I really encourage people to look out for that. I know that we've got links to all sorts of grant programs on our website at corestaurant.org to help share that information with folks, especially as we learn more. The state's continually looking at new ways to try to help with that as well. In fact, we're trying to partner on a program with them to raise money for grants, but we're still that's still in the concept phase, so I don't really have anything to announce there now other than the fact that we're exploring that with them. And as soon as we've got something done there, we'll definitely announce it to folks.
That's fantastic. From Frisco, we went into Breckenridge and a couple of stops here. We've had a busy day, you guys, in Blue River Bistro and Jay Beckerman. That was a great stop as well to see Jay. Next stop was the Crown and Sarah Cox. And these videos that we're getting, what are you guys going to do with the footage? Because other people may be watching right now going, how do I get to see this stuff?
Well, it's important that we tell those stories, as I'd mentioned, to the public, to lawmakers, to communities, for people to understand, what restaurants are going through and what they need to help. I'm going to step back for a minute and just talk about one of the things that we talk about on staff all the time is that restaurants, and people don't always think about this. Think about where some of your fondest memories have happened, where some of your greatest celebrations, right? You celebrate engagements, you celebrate anniversaries, you celebrate new jobs, you celebrate just, getting to know people at work. When you start a new job, business deals are done there. There's so many amazing experiences that happen at restaurants, and we want to remind people that they really shape our local communities. But how can we keep these amazing places alive through this really difficult time? And that's one of the things we want to share is these stories of what they're going through, how they've come together. Restaurants continue to be, and I've already learned a number of amazing stories about how they continue to be philanthropic and give so much to their local soccer team, or the school down the street, that kind of thing. We saw restaurateurs come out and give to food banks and frontline workers when this started, and these are people that literally their revenue went. I've heard cases where their revenue dropped 90%. Many cases where it dropped 90% the first couple of months, but for a lot of those folks, it hasn't really come back, or it come back just to a fraction of what it was in a typical year, and they're still out there giving.
Their natural inclination.
They are.
Well,
So
and even
it's just
you see it to their
sharing these
employees,
stories
too.
To their
I mean,
employees,
yeah.
right? They really want to make sure that they can keep on as many folks as they can. Some, understandably so, have had to lay many people off, but some have said, we're doing whatever we can to be able to keep people on. I know that they're all trying to keep as many people as they can on, but those are the kind of stories that we want to share with these folks that are creating new laws and are looking at ways that they can help their communities. And so we're looking at creating a series of either both very short documentaries and short kind of advertisements to just remind people. And they'll be, professionally done and making sure that we're just capturing really the real stories of what's happening with these folks to be able to share them with the community.
And how much you would lose if you lost your favorite
Exactly.
places.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and we should talk about that. So jumping from there, Breckenridge Distillery, and we got to speak with Aaron Tatlock. Just a great place, and thank you for showing us Breckenridge Distillery. Just to give you an idea of the community, one of the purveyors, the ranch we're using, Centennial Cuts, uses all the spent grain from Breckenridge Distillery. So when we go back to do our dinners, and 2 nights in a row, Thursday night with Chef Scott, and then Friday night with Chef Rebecca Weitzman, Breckenridge Distillery will be there, and so will Centennial Cuts. So we'll talk about how that community fits in. And then, of course, here to Craig Jones and Carboy with the many people that are involved in these concepts. Gulpan has a very extensive history. But as we go back to, and you just heard a lot there, Craig, so I want to kind of bat clean up with you. The safety support in the community. If Gulpan couldn't carry on their legacy with the stories, with all the great history, and it just stopped with COVID, what a shame. Be a terrible shame to stop that dead in its track. So when you hear us talk about these 3 things, and you being a restaurant operator, and how many employees work in this large organization of yours?
Yeah,
a lot, right?
Yeah.
What is it that you've done? Because guidance is one thing, right? You can give guidance all day long, but execution. And these gals have been putting up great work from the CRA with guidance. What are the things that you had to go back to, the basics, the fundamentals, in order to be able to not only sustain your business, but to grow?
Right. I'm just going to be a politician and change the subject and make sure you guys are eating some food. Because
Those ribs smell so amazing.
Yeah.
It all looks really good.
There's nothing worse than being
I'll eat a rib then.
a restaurateur,
Or they
and then
you're
you
not
wait for
eating?
the host and the guests to wait an hour at 38 degrees before they eat these ribs. So you want to kind of get them before they get down to 38 degrees
All right.
or whatever.
I never eat when I'm talking, but I'm doing it
Right.
this time.
But no, COVID was a struggle. It was very stressful. The shutdown was stressful. We were pretty much, some of our restaurants were completely shut down, like Ivy on 7th, all the way till they reopened in, I think it was May 25th or so, somewhere in that range, and slowly trying to, get back to normal. And so a lot of these restaurants, lost a lot of money for 10 straight weeks. And then after that, they might only got back to 50% of last year's sales, 25%. Like Sonia said, some got only 10%. So it's really painful and heartbreaking because depending on the location, you could be the greatest restaurateur in the world, and you're just in a bad location for the shutdown, like being downtown Denver, being right there in the city. It's just really heartbreaking for all of them. But we've had some restaurants that that are really struggling and still will not get back to where they were pre-COVID. And then we have some that did, that hung in there, like the Gold Pan in Breckenridge. The tourists are leaving Denver and Texas, and they're coming out and having a vacation. And so we're fortunate that the town of Breckenridge let us open up the streets and put tables out there and extend our liquor license, similar to what they did in Denver, where you could go out into the curb and gutter and onto the asphalt, grass, parking lots. So, but as far as us, that crisis management, of just trying to survive, you're doing food drops and you're getting on social media and signing up with all the food deliveries and just trying to figure out a way to, emailing all your friends and just inviting them in for a glass of wine, hoping that they'll come in and maybe have dinner for the family, So, we're
I think you're modest. You guys do such a great job. And I look at Angelo's and Eric Hyatt.
Mm-hmm.
He invented service, really. I mean, he is one of those frontline guys. And you look at around at all of your concepts. Whatever you guys are doing, you put a lot of effort into it. You get your team together, and you do it very well.
It shows.
It does.
Yeah. Being next-door neighbors to his other location in Denver.
We were there for a meeting, I don't know, just about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. And, I mean, looking around and seeing everything just so spacious and well-appointed and great food and service and just work. It's like that's not a coincidence. That's not a coincidence at all. That's a great team working together in tandem to make sure that everything works properly.
Yeah, no, we've got pretty lucky, partnering up with the right, team. Angelo's, you're right. Eric Hyatt, he is Angelo from 2013 to present. I mean, he took over, from Mama Grace and Roxanne. I mean, you got to think of how lucky we were to have them sell us that restaurant. Your mom knows them. Your mom worked at Angelo's, so yeah.
I was named after Grace.
Yeah,
her name was Gregaria. Something like that.
I mean,
really? That's great.
Craig, move that microphone up just a little bit,
Grace
buddy.
Lavio.
Yeah. Is that better right there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you think of the Lavios, and and they're unbelievable. Because we feel guilty sometimes when we are successful. You tell Mama Grace and Roxanne, when you're ready to go to Italy, we're buying the plane tickets, and we mean that, and we remind them a couple times. So here it is on the radio. But Chef Scott from Barolo, he's a part owner. We have what we feel is one of the top chefs in the state that does Italian food, and he does, that New York City Italian food, homemade pasta, that they would charge $50 an entree. We do it for $16. You got Eric and Karami, so it's just an unbelievable team. And then and people ask me, like, how can you have more than one restaurant? And it's impossible without the partners. Like, we would never have opened up 7th in Logan without Chef Rebecca Weitzman. She had to make the commitment to move there. It was a no-go. 100% was not going to do it. And then you bring in Maggie O'Malley and Joe and Jason Snap from Avanti's, and you got the dream team there. Noemi next door is also a future partner, and she's the managing partner there. And so, yeah, every location, you just have to, this location here, you got Flying Brian that's been here 37 years. And unfortunately, we're heartbroken because he asked somebody to not enter the restaurant last night without a mask. And I'll put it on the air because it's on my mind right now. But an MMA fighter, got over the bar, and Ben and Flying Brian, 66 years old. The guy grabbed the back of his head and smashed his face in right here last night. So he's got a broken jaw, nose, bones in his cheeks. 66-year-old man getting beat up by a 30-year-old guy, all on surveillance. And we try to do
because of the mask.
Because of the mask, we asked him not to put the and he fought with them for 15 minutes, and why it was unnecessary. And to work in this business, you think of your liability insurance and then the town, you get the town, and every city, municipality from coast to coast will say, well, what could you guys have done different, and how come you didn't call the cops right when 20 seconds before it happened? Because
how would you have known?
Yeah. And it does suck because, we run the Gold Pan here. We want to keep it going, but if there are fights in here, then this whole complex will be Carboy Winery, and we want to keep the Gold Pan here, but if tourists come up here or people, irresponsible and they drink next door, or they drink in their car, or they do an edible or whatever, and they roll in here and assault our staff, it makes it harder to keep the history of the Gold Pan. So there you go.
Well, yeah, was it a local or was it out of town? Was it a tourist?
The last 2 assaults that took place here were tourists from out of town, from very wealthy families, and they both got arrested. One was in jail for about 6 months, and then this one here, I don't know how. Hopefully, this guy goes 5 to 10 years for that type of assault.
Wow.
It's terrible.
Well, I was just going to say it's really sad. We've heard, unfortunately, a lot of stories like that.
Yeah.
That restaurateurs are trying to follow the law to stay open to keep their staff and their other guests safe, and folks that just decide for whatever reason they don't want to abide by that are making it more difficult for everybody. And to see that kind of violence it's really sad. It's heartbreaking that we've seen it. I've heard many stories like that, and some restaurateurs have said to their staff, just don't don't fight back or don't argue back if these people, because they're scared. They're trying to keep them out of harm's way. And it's hard when you're trying so diligently to keep everybody safe and abide by the law, and you've got people like this that are just willing to go out there and be violent and make it difficult for your folks who are just working so hard every day.
Well, and there is a motto in Colorado that's know before you go. And I think people should be more respectful of it, because the reality is in so many ways, I was talking with someone today, it's just a mask, folks. It's no big deal, and we shouldn't be making such a big deal about it, because the reality is we all want to get through this together.
And
Absolutely.
Once you're seated,
And
you can
and
take
it's
it
not
off.
that the restaurants decided this is what we're going to do.
Exactly.
It's that the state is mandating it.
Yes.
So they're not just making up these rules; they're following the rules.
Hey, Jay Parker, I just want to jump in real quick and tell people out there that may or may not know, and just to not gloss over something like this, because not only is COVID putting added pressure on everybody in most walks of life, right? There are some people that are actually flourishing, but that's just few and far between. But so the added pressure for the restaurant industry, and specifically bartenders and servers, that already, if you've never done it and you've never had somebody who is physically in your face and yelling at you for whatever reason, right? Because you won't give them another draft of beer, or because of your face mask, because the chicken wings weren't as hot as they wanted. Like, that's a terrifying thing in general, and we put a lot of pressure on our bartenders and servers to police those things, because that's just the reality. It's not the bar owner's fault. It's not the restaurant owner's fault. I mean, that's just is what it is. So, that's my 2 cents as a bartender, former bartender, however you want to look at it, is that it can be scary without the COVID and mask thing, and now you're just tacking that on. So,
And just don't be a jerk, right? And so at the end of the day, Craig, the only way that you could avoid it, that Breckenridge beer that we had before was fantastic. Thanks. I thought you had a Breckenridge Pils.
Sour, maybe? Or
no, I don't want the same one there. Don't worry about it right now.
Dealer's choice, Aaron.
There you go.
Pils or a lager. I'll take. Yeah, thanks. Short of you having an off-duty police officer, which you shouldn't have to staff for that, it's really like that. Know before you go. And actually, with Coloradans, I'd have to say that we're a pretty well-behaved community of people, Colorado. I'm proud of what we do here.
I feel the same way. And, we've been traveling all around the state during this COVID time. And truly, I think people here are very respectful. And I know obviously we at the Modern Eater support the restaurant community, but I think that people here respect it so much more. And that's why I wanted to highlight what Sonia said about the fact that these people have always been protecting us. Yeah. And in some ways, we take that for granted. We take it for granted that when a bartender tells us, I think you've had too much to drink, he's actually protecting us from ourselves, or he or she might be protecting us from ourselves. And I don't think we give the credence to it when we're sober.
Yeah, remember
that we
who
should.
Is sober. Remember who is practicing this. And remember, and I thought of this a little while back, and I'm thinking to myself, what other profession do you ask to go where we're not protecting them as servers, as bartenders? We're not protecting them, but we're asking them to take our orders, to wait on us, to get close to us. And I think they should have hazard pay, really.
Be careful with that.
Right.
But in that sense, and then when don't do that.
Well, funded by the taxpayers.
Of course.
It's a separate thing you see there.
No
Craig.
more of that. We don't need any more taxes. Point being is these guys are just doing great work, and I think we all appreciate, back to Sonia's point again, of some of the best times in our life are going to restaurants. For
First
an
dates.
anniversary, for a first
I mean,
date.
Oh my
think
gosh.
about it. How many proposals have happened at a restaurant? How many times have you engaged the entire restaurant staff to do a surprise birthday party or do? I mean, I remember someone threw me a party at Ace one year, and holy smokes, I think it was when I turned 40 or something, but the whole team at Ace was all part of it, and that's some of the things we take for granted, I think, as we go through life, that the restaurant industry is really interwoven. Our food and the community that it brings to us getting around a table and having a conversation.
Magical moments, I
Absolutely.
think.
I was thinking of what Greg was saying there, but as far as what, we put ourselves out there, and on the safety and making sure we have clean dishes and an immaculate restaurant and our employees are trained, served safe, and all that. But I was just thinking I wanted to give a shout out because Eric, the mayor of Breckenridge, not only is he mayor, but he owns Eric's downstairs next door, and
We love Eric.
I think about his
Restaurateur,
area
yeah.
responsibilities to be able to do both of those, task is pretty amazing.
The only thing certain right now is uncertainty, and we're all kind of navigating this. And patience and tolerance is of the utmost. And I understand there's a lot of frustration with inconsistency. And we'll go to the topic of the day, Sonia. Here it is. A lot of these restaurateurs and operators are looking at last call. And please, just lift it. Give us till midnight. Give us till 1. I mean, 2 a.m. is a dream again.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, but so where does it stand there?
Well, where it stands is, and we're looking into the legality of this, but where it stands at this point is that the governor's office has basically said they're gonna put it in conjunction basically with some of the safer at home guidelines, level 1, level 2, and level 3, and you'll have the time that you will be able to be open till will depend on what level you are in safer at home, right? Whether you're at level 1, level 2, or level 3. And then if you're at the protect our neighbors phase, you can then apply to really do last call whenever you want up to 2 a.m., which is state law. So, the reason I say looking into the legality of it is because traditionally it's been a matter of statewide concern and it's been one uniform law. Our concern typically with this has been when you start having last call at different times, you start thinking about folks saying, gee, I'm having such a good time. Now I'm going to, 5 minutes down the road, it's open for another hour. Why don't we get in the car and drive? Why don't we get in the car and drive half an hour? Where do we, and we really don't want to ever encourage drinking and driving. That's one of the things that we believe in at the Restaurant Association is consume responsibly, right? And make sure that people are safe. And so that's a concern of ours. And it also gets confusing when you start seeing different things city by city, which we've already, unfortunately had to do because of COVID and understand that, there are certain reasons that they're doing that to make sure that with the outbreak numbers and so forth that they're having to look at that. But you start adding more and more confusion the more that you do this. So, I will say to the state that they've really been open to talking to us about this kind of thing. So we'll continue the dialogue and see where we can work with them on it. But it is. I've already had a number of restaurateurs reach out to us and say, this is confusing. I'm very worried about people drinking and driving. I'm worried about what this is going to mean, especially in those places where oftentimes there are situations, especially in the actually in a lot of communities, but especially in the Denver metro area where one city or county a restaurant can be right across the street or 5 minutes away or something where it's really going to encourage that getting in the car and
Well, Sonia, is there any data behind that? Because I think in other states around the country,
behind what
this concept of
data
every county having a different cutoff, and that we have seen that already in the country. I think people driving from county to county,
chasing waterfalls.
chasing.
Well, some people have reminded me. Look at when there was the 18. Some place you could drink when you were 18, some when you were 21, and people would drive across state lines to do that. But we've had other partners that have been really outspoken on it with allied organizations, before when this issue comes up, saying that same thing. And I don't want to, without their permission, bring anybody specifically up, but I will just say that, it's certainly been a concern.
We're going to tell you what our agenda is for the week, and thank you for joining us. Nice and warm and toasty out here, and we're just really getting in the crease. A little bit of inside baseball here, but that's what we love to do. Talking with the CRA and Craig Jones here from Carboy, and really at the end of this, we're going to do a great fall dinner series. That's wonderful. I say we take a break, do a little timeout. We'll do a little bit of switching. I want to hear from Laura Shunk. Laura just orchestrating this, and I think that just giving you an idea of what we're trying to accomplish, and we'll talk about our agenda for the next few days as well. We've got a week long of this, and again, next week, falldinnerseries.com. Almost sold out. You've got to jump on it and get your tickets. You can join us. And all of the stuff that we're collecting, we're going to bring it back, and we're going to tell that story. It's kind of like a dinner theater, in a sense, talking about the community and connecting the dots. And one of the great things about Summer Dinner Series was having the ranchers, having the farmers, having the brewer, the distiller, the winemaker there to talk about their stories with the guests. I think it's a great equation.
I think it is too, Craig. And one of the things I'd love to do a round robin at this table to see who is the number one chef that they want and who do they think is going to be the sleeper chef. Because I think that there's a couple sleeper chefs that we're not talking about.
We will go over who those chefs are, but you can get a jump on that. Go to falldinnerseries.com. Look at the lineup of chefs that we have. It's going to be a great time. If you didn't join us for Summer Dinner Series, someone said to us they went to every single dinner and said, without Summer Dinner Series, our summer would have sucked.
Yeah.
Don't let your fall suck. We want you to have a great time. This is a cool thing. Thank you for tuning in. We'll take a break. We'll come right back. Laura's going to join us as well. This is a great discussion as we are on the first leg of our road trip. Thanks for tuning in. It is the TME CRA road trip, and we'll be back in a flash right here. The Modern Eater Show continues. I love the laugh.
You're ready.
Like right now?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. It's Kyle Mendenhall. I'm talking with my good friends from the Modern Eater Show. Keep supporting them. There's a lot of good stuff happening.
We started Meridiem Spirits because we love the way that spirits and cocktails can bring people together to socialize, to bond, to have conversations. Well, right now we've got some big conversations to have. Coupe Vodka and Coupe Gin are available at liquor stores across the metro area, but if you can't find us or would like to have us behind your bar or at your restaurant, send us an email, info@meridiemspirits.com. We know things are a little different these days, but think of us the next time you're planning a virtual happy hour or a socially distant picnic. And keep an eye on our social media, Coupe by Meridiem, for all the latest and greatest.
Hey, Dave Thibodeau here. Hey, friends of the Modern Eater. This is Dave Thibodeau from Ska Brewing and Peach Street Distillers. I wanted to let you know that our new brew distillery is up and running again in Boulder. And we've got a great selection of Ska beers. Nearly 30 on tap. We've also got all of our Peach Street Spirits available, a great mixology program that we brought down from the Western Slope in Palisade. We're open limited hours, Wednesday through Friday from 3 to 10, and then we open up earlier at 10 a.m. on Saturday and Sunday and get some brunch action rolling. We have 2 great patios. Socially distant seating is available. And you can always check for more information at scastreet.com and hope we become your new favorite neighborhood spot. And I'd like to meet you there in the not too distant future for a beer or a drink soon. So take care, be healthy, and stay strong. And I'll talk to you later.
Hi guys, it's Cody Ann from Aspen Baking Company. We specialize in fresh, preservative-free, amazing bread. But with all the food news, go right here to the Modern Eater.
Hey, Zach Ryder here, Colorado Mills Sunflower Products out of Lamar, Colorado. Your only local source, grown from a local crop to produce a local oil for local chefs. You can find it at Shamrock Foods, What Chefs Want, Seattle Fish Company. Let me try it one more time, then we'll see. Hey, restaurants, we're glad you're reopening. From Colorado Mills Sunflower Oil, we'll see you soon.
First, we partner with the best farmers in the world, and then we tell them, we will take it all. Process whole spices daily, blend custom spices to order, keep it fresh, safe, and flavorful, all so that you can get back to doing what you do best, So whether you're a restaurant, a food manufacturer, or an at-home cook, be sure to visit The Spice Guy at www.thespiceguyco.com.
Hi guys, it's Rebecca Berry with Hot Schedules powered by Ford. With all of the recent COVID rules and regulations, you may feel like you have way too many cooks in the kitchen. Well, fortunately, Ford is the leading hospitality provider and partner when it comes to onboarding, HR, payroll, tax, and compliance needs. So that way you can keep all of those cooks in the kitchen and let us manage all of your administrative needs. That way you can focus back on your business and your growth plans. Give me a call for an analysis on how we can put that ROI back into your business and take those administrative burdens off your hands, because nobody likes handling taxes. That's rebecca.berry@forth.com, rebecca.berry@forth.com. And hey, you know what's cool, guys? Keeping your mask on so that way we can keep our doors open.
Hey Modern Eater fans, I'm Don Trobo with the Annex by Ardent Mills, and I just wanted to give you a heads up about some of the great things we've got going on locally in the state. We're headquartered right here, and we're working with farmers in the San Luis Valley to bring you amazing Colorado quinoa. It's just like the South American stuff, but grown locally. We've got transitional wheat flour that's grown by farmers in Colorado and surrounding states who are in the process of turning their fields into organic. So we're taking that transitional wheat and turning it into flour, and now it's available for you to cook and bake with. And last but not least, we're now cleaning grain berries in Denver. So things like spelt or wheat berries or pearl barley, those are things that we're now doing right here locally and are available to you. Can't wait to share it with you.
Hey, Colorado restaurant and food service operators. This is Rich O'Brien along with Pearson Shields over here at Elevation Food Service Reps. And we wanted to let you guys know that at the end of the month, on the 23rd and 24th, here at our global headquarters in Park Hill, Colorado, Denver, Colorado, we're going to be having our demo sale where you can buy great products gently used for an excellent price. And we want to invite you over, and you know, chefs, I know you all know Pearson, and he can vouch that these are pretty good products, going to be a good price.
No, absolutely. We used them, gently used them, and we're super excited. We're doing some good food as well.
Well, by you.
Some chicken.
Yeah.
I'll be cooking.
Yeah, we got Pearson cooking, and hey guys,
Excited.
come over this way too. And don't mind the young woman right there. She's just kind of hanging out and hiding. But we have all this equipment here that we're going to be doing our best to sell and get out of here. So any questions, give us a call over here at Elevation, 303-750-3727, or at elevationfs.com. And if you have any questions about the equipment, just give Pearson a holler. Thanks, guys.
Hey there, Barbecue All-Star. This is your year, so what if you weren't drafted? The only draft you need to be worried about is actually spelled D-R-A-U-G-H-T, and it's adult for the word beer. It's barbecue season, baby. Now get out there and grill your ass off.
Hey guys, it's Brian Rizzuto with Encore Energy, the guy who saves your businesses money on natural gas. I know these are crazy, crazy times right now. So while your business is working on increasing your sales, let me work on saving you guys money on your natural gas. I'll make it as easy as possible. Just provide 12 months worth of natural gas bills to me. I'll do the rest. I know you're really busy, so let me get to work for you. You can reach me at 720-245-5771. I look forward to hearing from you guys, and let me try to save you some money in these crazy times. Bye.
Hi, Charlie from Brews Beers here, and I'd like to tell you about our brand new Abbey 4-pack, featuring the 4 main products of Abbey and Trappist breweries in Belgium. So there's the single, the double, the triple, and the quadruple. And let's talk about singles today. Singles or ankles are traditionally monk's beers served at meal times and during the day. They're low in alcohol, 3 to 5.5%, and they're often second runnings from stronger beers like triples or quadruples. This one is 3.8% ABV, and it's made from the second runnings from our triple. So what they're known for is lightness and drinkability. They're biscuity flavor with distinct hoppiness, and they're very refreshing. Great summer beers, available at either Brews location, 67th and Pecos, or at Colfax in York, and at fine liquor stores throughout the metro area. Pick up your Abbey 4-pack today and take home some Belgian-style badassery.
Thanks for joining us on a Monday.
okay.
It is Monday the 21st of September, and the TMECRA road trip continues. Day number 1, and we'll get back to the show from Carboy and Goldpan in just a minute, but I'll tell you about Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions. He's the guy. It's talk about community. You talk about somebody who's been in the business for a long time. You talk about local, and you talk about a professional. You talk about Jeff Rourke. He installs the tap systems of your dreams. What does that mean? If you have an installation or you've got a new build out, get a hold of Jeff Rourke. You need to do that. The beer the Brewers brew, they want it to taste like that, Jay.
Yes, they do.
Just the way the
Wait. We're at Carboy Winery. Can I pour wine?
You could. You could have a tap. You could have a wine tap.
Could I have a wine? Can I do kombucha?
You could do kombucha.
What
You could
about
do
coffee too? Oh, man. Okay,
and
now
add
we're
a nitro
rolling.
line. Beer.
Okay.
But you need the Jeff Rourke.
No, I'm going to need something more than that.
What are you going to need?
I'm going to need his phone number.
Okay, not yet. If you're pouring inefficient beer, what are you doing, boys?
You're pouring your money down the drain.
Don't pour your money down the drain. It's just a phone call away. Are you ready now?
I am ready, please.
All right, 720-272-3809.
That was too fast. One more time.
Okay, 720-272-3809. He's the best in the business. He's local. He's a family man. He's a true professional. Get a hold of him. All of your tap installation and maintenance needs. It's Jeff Rourke and A-Plus Beverage Solutions. Thanks. Welcome back. All right, TMECRA road trip. Frisco, and then Breckenridge. We're in Breckenridge today. Tomorrow we're heading into Palisade and Grand Junction.
Going to see the Talbots.
That's
We're
gonna
going to
be
see
good stuff.
our friends over at Rude 626,
Yes.
Theo and his whole
Then we're heading down to
family.
Durango and Telluride. And then we're going to head across the San Luis Valley, and we're going to go into some ranching country.
Yes.
And see Luke Larson and Centennial Cuts, and then we're going to go to Lamar into some sunflower fields. I'm ready for
This
that.
is almost taking us back to our first road trip. Remember when we went down to Ordway?
Yes.
And we saw your good friend down there.
Yeah,
that
Bill Traynor.
Bill Trainor's ranch.
Uh-huh.
And
Traynor
boy,
Ranch.
that is completely different than what we see.
Colorado, I
isn't
know.
it? I mean, it's crazy. We're coming across I-70, and we're in these forests. We're in these beautiful, and then we open up to this little desert, forest again, back to desert,
Yeah.
and then you go down, and it is it's almost a different world.
So stay tuned all week long, and then we get back for our fall dinner series, which we'll talk to you about the chefs. So, hosting us tonight, Craig Jones, thank you so much. Exciting, really, being here with you tonight in Breckenridge, and thank you for the stories as we continue along with the gals from the CRA. So, Dev, she stepped aside. Sonia Riggs is still here with us. Thank you, Sonia. And Laura Shunk has joined us right now as well. There was a lot to take in with no headset and a microphone there. Anything you'd like to touch on of what you heard us talk about before?
Well, I don't know about what you talked about before, but the food is delicious.
Oh,
It is fantastic.
I got to stuff my face while you all had your conversation.
Absolutely. The three things that we're setting out to get on this road trip is safety, support, and community, and some sound clips. First of all, those three items right there, safety, support, community. Did the Brain Trust sit around the boardroom table and say, what are the three issues that we really want to focus in on? How'd you come up with those three things?
You know, I think it's a little bit about we're trying to accomplish multiple goals, right? We're trying to get people to go back into restaurants. So understanding, I think Sonia touched on it earlier, or maybe you touched on it earlier. Bob talked about it earlier today. There are people out there that still haven't had their first experience back in a restaurant. So they don't know that it's actually, you get here and you feel okay. You feel like it's safe, that the restaurant, highly regulated in this. They know how to take care of people on sort of this front. So there's a little bit of a desire to just show people that if you haven't left your dining room since March, you may not know that. And then I think the rest of it is sort of talking about, what is living this experience like? There's a sense of restaurants are always sort of where we go to commiserate or to spend time in our communities. We talked about the good times, but we also spend bad times in a restaurant. And in this experience in the pandemic, we haven't been able to do that. So how are restaurants creating that community even in this weird time? And a desire to sort of show that, because there are, I think every restaurant that's opening is doing that, and that's open is doing that in some way. And even the ones who are still only doing takeout are doing that in some way. They're providing a sense of community that you can't get just by sitting in your dining room cooking for yourself.
Well, but what would you say, Laura? We were traveling, right? And in Florida, we ran into a chef that said, guess what? I have a regular and a few of them that have not come out since COVID. What could you say to those people that are,
Take
afraid?
your time, I think, really. right?
Well, hold on a second, though, because I think one of the things that people forget is the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment actually put something out at the very beginning of this saying that for those that are especially at high risk, right, ordering in to your house can actually be a safer way to get food. Ordering in from a restaurant can be a safer way to get food than going to the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that would be a good reminder, people, is you can still help your local restaurateur by ordering in or going to pick up, having somebody pick up. Oftentimes they will go out and deliver it to you on the curb, so you don't even have to go into the restaurant. I feel like, in fact, we heard from a couple of restaurateurs today that said even though they may not advertise it, they're more than willing to accommodate you however they can to make you feel safe. So you don't have to go into a restaurant with other individuals who, by the way, are already going to be socially distanced per the state health department guidelines from you. But even if that's too much for you, you can safely order food to go or for delivery at home. And that's another great way to support those local communities, to keep them open, keep those folks employed, and to enjoy amazing food that you maybe or likely can't make at home.
That's what I wanted to hear right there. Yeah.
Less touch points and folks that are already just really into the safety aspect. And it's interesting. I've really enjoyed a lot of restaurants that have done really superb jobs at laying out their menus online. You just pick up your phone and you're like, what's this creative way? Oh, cool. I'll just go park, text them. They'll come out to me. I mean, the convenience is just there for everybody if you're not exploring these things.
Well, have you found sometimes it's faster? Sometimes it is
Sure
faster.
it is.
You show up at a restaurant and you look at this big long line. You jump on your app, you place the order, and your food is ready before the person in front of you in line.
Craig, so COVID, right? It's taught a few lessons, and a few lessons I think will stick. It transcends through. But that ease of ordering, that ease of accessibility, that not being so presumptuous that your customer or your guests are always going to come to you. How do you make it so that you can go to your guests, whether it be photos or showing people what you're doing? You have to constantly connect through your email lists. You really have to just get organized and get your social media together. What are some of the lessons that you and your organizations have learned through COVID?
Yeah, just working more with e-commerce and being on social media, Facebook and Instagram, and like you said, you can walk into a restaurant, sit down, and pull the menu up very fast, know what you're going to order, before the server might even approach the table. But
so our shop, Studio Kitchen Colorado, is on 6th and Federal.
Yeah.
I drive home down 6th Avenue. Many times I call ahead to Angelo's on 6th Avenue. I say, I'd like to get a pizza ready to go. That big front window, right? There's been times where they just throw it into my car while I'm driving by. I'm just
wow, that's service.
It's
Man,
really
Craig,
actually,
pretty impressive.
Yeah, Craig, I can't believe you can get that done. But no, really.
Angelo's downtown and Logan Street. I mean, we're checking everybody's temperatures when they walk in the door, and we log those temperatures, and hand washing stations on the way into the restaurant, into the bathroom, everywhere. No more than 3 people in the bathroom, and lots of signage. But 6th Avenue, I mean, Eric and Karami and the team there, I mean, they've got the sidewalks colored, to make sure everybody standing outside is, in their 20, square feet concrete block or whatever you want to call it. And then they've got like movie theater ropes that, have one way in this way, one way out that way, and they got signage everywhere. The hostess is sitting outside under a tent, and then the curbside's going through the back parking lot, and you got a tent out there, and so your employees are outside, so the customers don't even have to get out of their car, and you're passing that curbside, that like Texas Roadhouse does a great job with, but yeah, then again, my mind puts me back at all the other restaurants that don't have the curbside and the parking, and the smaller restaurants. And Cap Hill has got so many great restaurants that are really, they can't get 20 tables in there. They can only get 2 or 3, and just
what would be your best advice? Yeah.
Well, so real quick, some of them don't have sidewalk. They don't even have sidewalks to expand
to. Sidewalks,
even though some of the cities are being really open, it just doesn't work for every location. Right.
Yeah, I mean, for those
or parking lots or their neighbors' front. I mean, they don't have those options.
Yeah, for me, I think, like I said, there's a lot of great restaurants all over Denver and Cap Hill and the Highlands, and your favorite restaurant that might be, you know, where they crumb your tables, or just a really intimate restaurant, you know, that you want to support them. You know, they're open from 4 to 10 o'clock. Like, don't always grab the reservation at 6:30. You know, grab that reservation at 4, 4:35, 8:30, 9:30. If you really want to support some of those boutique restaurants in Denver. You know, and you really
anywhere.
That's a great point.
Not just Denver.
Yeah.
I'd say
Yeah.
anywhere.
Anywhere.
I'm hearing that from lots of restaurateurs that's a
You're
big
right.
way to help.
Yeah.
Going those off times.
Yeah, going on off time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, change your behavior, right? I think that's the takeout thing we've been talking about too. Think of the places that you may not necessarily often get takeout from there, but everybody's doing takeout right now.
Well, we can be European. Why do we have to eat at 7 o'clock?
That's
Right,
right.
Here, when you go over to Europe, it's like 4:30.
Yeah,
7
yeah.
o'clock is 4:30, right? So let's think outside the box for sure.
Well, and
It's
Craig,
fun.
back, what would you give? What would the one, if you could give some hope to other restaurateurs out
Yeah.
there, what would the one piece, what would the nugget that you could share with everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's tough, man. I don't know. I mean,
Every
it's-
concept's different.
Everything's
right?
different,
Yeah.
you know. I mean, for me, I put as many customers' names in my phone under, you know, Radio Jay, Radio Brian, Radio Greg, and the same thing with customers that walk in, so I can go through my phone and have every customer labeled, you know, to an experience, and just, you know, just send them a text, how things going, you know, and because people forget about you. We're creatures of habit, you know, and so, you know, some of these restaurants can reach out, you know, you know, just bring them all in for, you know, an experience somehow if they can, you know, or just say hi to them and how things are going, and just remind people, you know, that supported you, you know, and get them back on track to go back out to eat.
Get to know your customer.
From the stream, Greg, Keith Segura, who watches our show a lot, says it's the virtual engagement via social media versus traditional emails is what's working. Who has time to rifle through their emails that may have gone to spam? Social media is a better means of mutual engagement. Thanks, Keith.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
Keith.
and
Yeah.
really the points that you were just making there, Craig, and I love that, because your mindset isn't I've paid all my dues, I'm too good to reach out to some, you know, they should come to me, I've done this for years and years. You really need to get back down there in the grassroots effort right now, and connecting, just like you said, whether it's a couple of texts or awareness or here's what we're doing.
Yep.
That's paramount right now, because people, their attention spans, they're short-lived, really. There's a lot of information coming at people all the time. But connect with your guests on a very personal way. That's a great piece of advice, and you do it. You execute that,
Isn't it? Yeah.
To the fullest. I really appreciate that.
Know
about
your
you.
customers. I mean, and this is the time where I think that this is really a very pivoting moment for everyone in life. As business owners, this gives us this incredible opportunity to understand what our customers want and to become, in a way, more intimate with the people who are supporting us.
Yeah. No, I mean, and you know, when you're struggling to pay your rent, and you know, and you're paying dead rent somewhere, and utilities, and you're trying to retain your employees, and you want to have to go out and spend more money on social media, like that's the last thing most restaurateurs want to do. Yeah, let me go spend some money, you know, on Twitter or Facebook. It's really it's scary. So yeah, for us, we've been successful. If it's Pub on Pearl 13 years ago, you know, dropping off chips and salsa at as many tables as you can. You know, talking to the server, are they having dinner? No. Great, you know, and then let me know when they're getting ready to close out, so that you can maximize the sale. They're ready to close out. How many drinks do they have? They've only had 2. They're sober. Yeah, let's go buy them another beer, because we already maximized the sale. At Angelo's, we gave away 40,000 free oysters a year for the first 3 years. So, you know, it takes a lot of courage to say, man, I'm trying to run at 26% food costs. How, you know, and we're slow. We're doing 50% occupancy. Why would I give away, you know, an $80 keg, you know, every weekend? Because the reason why is that keg is $100, and you can touch 120 people for $80, and you got to build it. So it's kind of, you got to, you got to fight during COVID, but when COVID has passed, you know, I always recommend is, you know, just doing nice things, getting complimentary appetizers, a taste of wine here, a sample of beer there, just the little things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
that's what I love about how he's a great operator, and listen, I encourage a lot of folks to just listen up and ask questions too. I have a feeling if folks reached out to you and said, "Hey, what are some of your tips and tricks, Craig? Could you let us in on that?" I have a feeling you'd be right there.
Absolutely.
In the community.
It's about community. Again, about community.
Yeah, okay. I want to do this because we do want to get and eat, and it's getting late, and this is just day one. We don't want to burn everybody out. I know I wanted to shoot for about an hour here. We have about 7 more minutes. But I want to turn back to Miss Sonia Riggs. Sonia, we've had conversations to where probably ad nauseum of here's COVID, here's what we have to operate under, and a lot of things, they're fluid and they change, but is there light at the end of the tunnel? Is there, after COVID, can we start thinking about normalcy again, or are we going to be working in these restraints for quite some time in your estimation?
Well, what the governor says is until there's a cure or a vaccination, we're going to be dealing with these restrictions. Mm-hmm. So that's the hard fact. The nice thing is that because of what we experienced this spring and summer with so many cities and counties coming out there to help restaurants by being creative, right? Mm-hmm. Letting them expand their dining into patios, or into expanded patios, into streets, into sidewalks, into parking lots, into their neighbors' front, if the neighbor is willing to cooperate, into parks. We already experienced that. So if we are going to be having to do that again next spring, and in fact, we've already heard a lot of people say they want that well into recovery, mm-hmm. right? So let's just pretend, and hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers, that things will get better, and we'll get a vaccine or a cure this winter, right? Spring is still not going to be back to normal for many restaurants who have been so hard hit this last year. So they're going to need that extra space to be able to just recover and get back to normal. I wish I could predict the future. I mean, we all do, don't we? Especially nowadays. But I will say at least we've got people that are paying attention to what restaurants are going through right now, really paying attention to the fact that they're hurting, and realizing that they really do make amazing communities, that they're out there giving back to their communities, that they're making these great experiences that we were talking about earlier, and that we need to help these folks survive. And I think that's one really positive thing I can say has come out of this, is that I think more than ever people are really seeing that. At least I'm hearing it more than I've seen. But I wish I could predict. I can't predict what things are going to look like and when we're going to return to normalcy. But I think it's going to be some time. And from what we've been talking about to many people, it's probably going to be quite some time, mm-hmm. even when there is a vaccine and a cure. People have changed their mindsets, and there are people that are afraid. Mm-hmm. There are people that are even afraid to order in, which is surprising to me because, like I said earlier, the government is actually saying, and health experts are saying, that could actually be a lower mm-hmm. risk way, especially for these high risk populations, of getting the food that they need. So there shouldn't really be any barriers to those folks enjoying. Understandably, that money may be with people out of work and so forth. That's always a concern. But the fact is, in general, we've got folks that can deliver some really amazing dining experiences to you at your home if you're open and willing to do that, and it can be lower risk than venturing out to the grocery store for sure.
Yeah.
So
we should really be talking about that, Greg, because I think that's a really important point of what Sonia just said. Yeah. I mean, and Sonia, throw that same question similar to Craig's. What if there's one nugget that you could say to restaurateurs?
Well, let me just add one more thing real quick before I go on, if that's okay, is that I will tell you as a mother of 3, when my husband and I were both working nonstop through the shutdown and beyond, and I've got 3 kids at home that we're trying to feed. That was a challenge. Let me just say that. You're used to, going to school during the day and them having school lunches, and now we're feeding 3 meals a day to them at home, and being able to access these restaurants that put together packages, family meals, creative cocktails. Not only did it make it fun for us, it gave us an opportunity for our kids to experience new and unique, meals that they hadn't, or foods that they hadn't tried before. That's been amazing.
I don't want to see that go away either.
I don't want it to go away either, because it's been fun, and it's been a nice perk of this is seeing kind of unique things. I mean, we were even getting provisions. We were getting whole loaves of bread, and I think I bought napkins and that kind of thing at restaurants when they had it during the shutdown, when you couldn't get it from the grocery store. And it was so nice to see that they were really going out, above and beyond to make us comfortable and feel safe and get what we needed. And Brian, sorry, your question was
what's a nugget that what could you give to some restaurant? Because it's like patience is where I would almost say, but what's your nugget?
You mean what can we as consumers give
what kind of hope could you give all these restaurateurs out there that is just like this glimmer, this little star that we can hold on to of where it's going?
I will say one thing. We've done a lot of outreach to the public, and there's a lot of pent-up demand for people that want to go back and get back to normalcy, right? Mm-hmm. They want to go back and experience. And I think that's the one thing that I would say for hope is when things do open up, there are a lot of people that really, really want to get out there. Some people have asked me, is this going to change the way that restaurants work forever? Maybe in some ways it might, right? Some people may discover new, more efficient models of doing business and may decide that that's how they want to change. But I don't think that the true feeling that people have when they go to restaurants and the need and the experiences, the amazing experiences that they have when they go to restaurants are going to go away. I think that people really still have that desire and are just excited to be able to get back out. And I think that's what I'm looking forward to I think we're all looking forward to is when we can get back to some sense of normalcy and really be able to go have those experiences like we used to.
Mm-hmm. I think the normal is changing. Yeah. And I think just time. You get used to it. And right now, I feel normal. I feel like there is some normalcy with this.
I totally agree, Greg. I mean, I think you just have to find it.
It really
it's still there. You just have to look.
Yeah. And so the moral of the story is if we want this to continue, we've got to keep the outbreak at bay. We've got to follow the mask orders. Just behave yourself. Don't give the owner-operators and the staff a hard time when you go in to patronize their business. I mean, truly, this is an honor and a pleasure to be able to sit down and not be stuck at home to do that. And it's going to take us all collectively to continue on with that. I'm hopeful because that's just the way that I am, and I'm seeing things progress in really the way that you guys have been leading. And again, you can do all in the world. You can give guidance all day long, but execution and what you take from it and what you're doing with your business, the creativity is just outstanding. And so what I'm looking forward to going forward post-COVID is what were the lessons that were learned, what's sticking around, and how is that going to bring your business over the moon because you reeled it back in and you trimmed all the fat around you and you really started to figure out what's important for this business and this community.
We're making better business owners.
People are connecting with their food and their people again, and it really exposed something that needed to be exposed, in my estimation. I can't wait for the future to happen. It's exciting times, and the optimism is really what we all. That's my one piece. Be optimistic.
Yep.
Be optimistic, because I think that's really what folks are searching for. I don't know. How do we wrap this up, Craig? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. I thought you were going to talk about the fall dinner
series.
series.
I teed you right up. So as we come back into Denver, we're going to have a lot of goodies in hand.
All right.
We're going to have produce. We're going to have farms and ranch,
pears
and
apples and alcohol in that.
It's going to be a great time, and 5 nights in a row. Let's see if we can do it. Can you remember all 5 nights, Craig?
No.
The chefs, you can't.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You can.
Yeah,
okay, night number 1.
Well, yeah, you got to, challenge me after the break on that.
Okay.
Come on.
I gotcha. You want it?
Yeah.
Corey Baker.
Corey Baker
from the old Sushi Den. He's on his new thing, and we're going to hear some stuff about that.
There's a lot of people that are really looking forward to that.
Yeah, well, I looked at all of their menus, and they're all so different, and
it's
I'm
interesting.
stoked.
Industry folks have been reaching out saying, I need to go to that dinner. He's a darling of industry.
He is.
And looking forward to that. Tuesday night's a chef that I really admire. His ethos towards food.
He's one of my male crushes, man. He's a man
let's not
crush.
just shoot by the brewery or the distillery.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead,
pouring
Jay.
cocktails, you know. Brewers beers, you may if you're a fan of Belgian-style beers.
Yep.
And the Family Jones, who we can't wait to party with.
Is that Monday night, Jay, or is that
Monday
Tuesday?
night.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is that the 28th of September?
That's the Monday night, September, year of our Lord, 2020. September 28th.
Tuesday night is Chef Kyle Mendenhall from the Big Red F, formerly of Arcana in Boulder.
Yeah. Oh, and he started the Kitchens program. I mean, he is just one of those. We said it. Next level chef, hands down. He is like, and that's where I was going to go when I was asking, who's your favorite and who's your like unsung hero that you don't know. I mean, I don't mean any disrespect, but Kyle is sort of my.
I think that would probably be my sleeper as well. It was funny because we were doing an interview last week with the Brewers Association president and CEO, Bob Pease. Bob came on and said, hey, Kyle's one of our guys that helps out Chef Adam Dooley for the Brewers Association as well. Those guys are all homies. Bob's going to be on. He's taking a trip with his daughter. He's flying back that same evening, that Tuesday. He's going to come right in from DIA and come to the dinner. He wanted to make sure. So join us for that one as well. Wednesday night, I mean, you don't even need any introductions for this gentleman. I can't believe there's still 4 tickets left to this dinner. Only 4, though. Chef Alex Seidel. That'll be a great dinner.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
Oh, Tuesday night. Sorry, Jay. Who are the brewer and distillery on Tuesday? Chef Kyle Mendenhall.
Our good friends, Tommyknocker Brewery from up on the hill here. We drove through them. And Meridiem Spirits, who, if you're not familiar with Meridiem Spirits, you need to be. Assuming you like vodka and gin and a little bit of that, you know.
A little bit.
A little bit of what's
shimmy.
that?
A little
shimmy sham.
How about Wednesday night?
How about Wednesday night? Who do you want?
Chef Alex Seidel.
Oh, Wednesday night, yeah. Did we do? I was doing Kyle Mendenhall's night, huh?
Yeah.
Odd 13 Brewing. You may have heard of them.
Yep.
And Golden Moon Distillery.
Oh, that'll be a good one.
Yeah.
That's a great all-around dinner.
Well, hey, wait, though. I want to say that what people aren't knowing about this or getting the info right now, every single night you will be getting incredible wine. And right here is one of my favorites. The 59er. And we're all drinking it. And Carboy Winery, and thank you, Craig, because
absolutely.
You guys are making it happen. And look at the table. You've got all of us.
Cheers.
You have
Cheers.
our attention,
Cheers.
my friend.
Cheers.
Thank you
Cheers.
so
Cheers.
much.
Cheers. Delicious.
Cheers.
Delicious. Thursday night, here's where it gets really cool. So I'm a huge fan of Angelo's and their food, as you know. Scott Hiberneth, he's an amazing chef. He's going to join us on Thursday evening. That dinner is almost sold out as well. I don't sleep on this one. You talk about sleepers?
Yeah,
Scott.
I know.
He's a great guy. Scott is going to be paired up with who? Jay?
Ratio Beer Works, not bad, and Breckenridge Distillery, who, if you are an avid follower of the Modern Eater Facebook page or the CRA Facebook page, you saw a little tour of their distillery today. And beautiful, beautiful place.
Friday night is going to be really cool because it's on her home turf. And Chef Rebecca Weitzman from Logan Street, we will be at Logan Street all week long. She's so excited. She can't wait for all of the chefs to come through. She wants to be helpful to each and every one of them. And her dinner is going to be a special dinner. So Chef Rebecca is Friday night batting cleanup for everybody. And Breckenridge Distillery again.
Breckenridge Distillery again. And let me tell you why. Because they are awesome. And they have such an awesome relationship with Logan Street Restaurant over there that when we were putting this whole thing together, you know, Craig and Snap over there were like, man, listen, we want Breckenridge. We want them for all the dinners. But if you can do 2, let's do 2 because they're that awesome. So we said, well, what the hell? You know, yeah. And then a little brewery by the name of Odell Brewing.
That'll be great.
Yeah.
That's a full week.
Well, you know what, those cool? I'll give Rebecca another shout out because you know what Rebecca did for all the other chefs? Rebecca was very engaged with our friends over at Elevations. Elevation Food Service reps.
We're building a kitchen outside.
She jumped in there and said, hey, this is all this cool equipment that I want you guys to bring and share with not only me but the other chefs. She is a keeper. I tell you what.
The hardest worker ever. I mean, I think she took 2 days off between April 5th and December 31st of 2018. She comes into 19. She might have taken, you know, a handful of days off then, you know, last year. She just loves to be there. She works very hard. We beg her to take her vacations, you know, and it's going to get a little physical because she needs to take her time off. But she's a hard worker. And both chefs, Chef Scott Hiberneth is amazing. He was with Barolo, with Blair for all those years. He was the chef at Sushi Den and Izakaya. And then he comes in and he opens up Angelo's 8 years ago, and he's rolling pasta, every day, homemade, great ingredients, doing his own charcuterie now. And then Chef Rebecca, celebrity chef. She's been on 2 seasons of CHOP and Food Network with Bobby Flay, and been on Iron Chef. And like I said, she's the hardest working person I've ever met.
She's a rock star. Yeah.
She's been on Chopped, but I take out my phone and I'm like, what is that, asparagus? And she's like, oh, my God, get away from me with the camera, And I'm like, weren't you on Chopped? No, like, this is just, I think my battery's dying.
So
I don't know.
sweet and humble. And almost to the point, it's like, how are you? A little bit shy, but she's just humble and sweet, and she just wants to help everybody.
Everybody. She's going to, every one of those dinners, like she'll wash dishes and see what they need, and she's going to be right there, So she's a great team player, and I think every chef and operator in Denver really appreciates Chef Rebecca.
Yeah, we need our rest. The ladies from the CRA, they don't need beauty sleep, but I know Jay and Brian and me do. We need to get some.
Am I really looking ugly right now?
We need beauty sleep.
We are getting tired. Craig Jones, thank you for driving. You drove
back
and forth all over the state.
Yeah,
today.
we left Denver last night, drove to Palisades, and then here, and I'm going to have to drive back to Littleton after this.
Are you really?
So I'm glad you guys are going to bed. Thank you for going to bed. Thank
you are a beast.
Thank you.
You are a beast.
And thank you. Thank you all.
Yeah.
The CRA is always there. I got to say this. You guys might be tired, but the CRA does so much.
They don't ever sleep.
27 years
go
that
back
I've been
to her room
here.
and send out a 10:30 email.
No, Laura's going to send it.
You're gonna send it
Actually,
out,
it already went out, didn't it?
It went out.
It already went out.
What was
so.
the email for the evening?
It was on
all the updates going on with.
Oh, you guys are amazing. All right.
No, thank you. Really, thank you all for everything you do.
Thank you for saying that.
You can call them for anything, and they're there for you. So.
I'd love to give a shout out to my team. We've got such an amazing team. It's not any single one of us that does it. It's a great group effort and an awesome staff that I work with. So I'm so happy to have them with me.
Yes, absolutely.
I still can't believe they're here with us. It's
terrific.
a highlight for us.
They got to drive to Avon tonight. Like, there's a lot of driving going on.
There's
a little bit of driving, a lot of great food.
That's right. Drinking our water here.
Yes, drinking the water here. Cheers.
Absolutely. Cheers to the water. Cheers to the community. Cheers for the conversation.
Yes.
And keep having the conversation. So for the gals from the CRA, Laura and Sonia and Dev, thank you. And for Craig Jones and Brian Freeman and Jay Parker and myself, Greg Hollenbach, we hope you can join us for our fall dinner series as we get back from this great road trip. Tune in this week. I think it'll be worthwhile to you. And we're just going to keep kicking that rock on down the road and highlighting this great community that we call Colorado. We thank you for joining us tonight, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. I don't know what the day is going to bring, but you're going to want to be right along with us. I'll give our shout-out to our Instagram story. It's a good one. Look at our Instagram story, The Modern Eater, and I'll tell you what, CRA, Dev, you're getting that CRA story going too. And that's what it was like. We're showing each other tips and tricks, and Dev's like, I might surprise you. I'm a sleeper on this social media stuff. So we're having fun. I hope you're having fun watching us too. And we'll see you back here tomorrow, bright and early, as we hit the road going into Palisade, Colorado, and Talbot's. What a great Centennial Farm.
Oh,
Another
this is
one.
going to be super cool.
You're going to enjoy that. So we'll see you in Palisade, Colorado, and then we'll be back tomorrow night setting up this same thing. We'll do a show from Route 626.
Yep.
And that'll be a good time too. Thanks again for joining us. For everybody here, we'll wish you a great night, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. The Modern